In 18th century Europe, the Age of Enlightenment was in full bloom. Reason was beginning to dominate superstition, and nature's secrets were gradually being revealed through the rising sciences. It was in this transformative backdrop that the figure of the Count of Saint-Germain appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. His first documented appearance took place in London around 1743. He amazed English society with his extraordinary musical talents and his ability to speak fluent English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese, all without any accent. Shortly after, in 1745, he was briefly imprisoned on suspicion of espionage, but was soon released. "Life is a great wonder," he would say during his rare moments of openness, "and few truly understand how deeply we must dive to touch its true essence." When asked about his origins, Saint-Germain offered evasive and contradictory answers. At times he implied he was the son of Prince Francis II Rákóczi of Transylvania. At others he hinted he had been born in Savoy, was an Arab prince, or hailed from the mysterious Orient. To the Countess of Georgie, who met him at the court of Louis XV, he made an even more astonishing claim. The Countess, upon meeting him, stated she had known him 50 years earlier in Venice. Instead of denying it, Saint-Germain replied, "It is true, madam. I knew Venice well in the last century." Stunned, she asked, "Then you must be nearly 100 years old." To which he calmly answered, "That is not impossible." The Danish diplomat Baron de Gleichen recorded in his memoirs, "He appeared to be about 50 years old, but that appearance did not change over the 20 years that I knew him." Prince Charles of Hesse-Kassel, who later became his close friend and protector, wrote, "He seemed to know the history of every atom in the world." The English writer Horace Walpole noted in 1745, "He sings, plays the violin wonderfully, composes, is mad, and not very sensible." Yet perhaps the most intriguing account comes from Madame d'Adhémar, lady-in-waiting to Queen Marie Antoinette, who claimed to have encountered Saint-Germain, with the same appearance, in 1789, 1821, and again in 1833, long after he should have been dead, according to official records. Historical evidence suggests he possessed profound knowledge of chemistry and alchemy. In Paris, he maintained a sophisticated laboratory where he conducted alchemical experiments. He demonstrated extraordinary abilities to transform metals and remove imperfections from diamonds. The Marquis de Valbel testified that Saint-Germain could erase flaws from diamonds, significantly increasing their value. In the European courts, he amazed audiences by playing the piano and violin with uncommon mastery and composing pieces of remarkable complexity. Several of his compositions have survived to this day, including his Solos for Violin, published in London. Wherever he went, Saint-Germain displayed an intimate familiarity with historical events from centuries past, describing them with such vivid detail that it created the impression he had witnessed them personally. He spoke of the court of Francis I of France, 1515 to 1547, as if he had been there, described the childhood of Louis XVIII with disturbing precision, and discussed events of the Italian Renaissance as an eyewitness. The Count of Châlons, in a later discovered letter, wrote, "A man who knows history not as it is written, but as it actually happened." Thus Saint-Germain wandered across Europe, constantly changing names and identities. He was known as the Marquis de Montferrat, Count Bellemare, Chevalier Schoening, Count Weldon, Prince Rákóczi, and many others. As occultist Manly P. Hall would note centuries later, he was a man without a country, without a known family, of uncertain name and mysterious purposes. The question remains, were all these personas manifestations of a single extraordinary man? Or are we looking at a lineage of adepts passing down the mantle of Saint-Germain through the generations? Or was he, as some believed, truly an immortal, walking among mortals? A manuscript found in the private library of Prince Karl von Hesse-Kassel contains a passage attributed to Saint-Germain. "I have learned not to cast pearls before swine, nor to make my heart captive to the profane multitude. But to you, who sincerely seek the light, I say, there is a knowledge that transcends the limits of common mortality." As researcher Jean Overton Fuller noted in her study of Saint-Germain, "The historical evidence shows us a man of extraordinary talents, encyclopedic knowledge, and seemingly unlimited resources. But beyond that, we see someone operating with a higher purpose, as if fulfilling a mission across the centuries.